The Book of Margery Kempe is an autobiographical account of the life of a 14th century Christian mystic of the same name. Everything about it's astonishing, including the manner of its discovery. Lost in the 16th century, it was found again in a country house in the 1930s after two ping-pong players lost a ball. Looking for another, they accidentally knocked a dusty manuscript out of a cupboard. The Book of Margery Kempe is the earliest autobiography in English, and Margery comes across as a real character. In the 14th century, Christians were encouraged to visualise events in the life of Jesus. It was believed that those events were still present as eternal realities on something like the Platonic model. If you tried hard enough, you could literally get into the life of Christ. At its highest point, there was no difference between visualising Christ's death and actually being present at it. This is important because it's the only way to make Margery's behaviour comprehensible. In the throes of religious ecstasy, she would burst into floods of tears. Some modern readers have found that unacceptably weird, but that simply shows a lack of imagination. Think for a moment, the person you really believe is the saviour of the world and God incarnate is being killed before your very eyes. How would you react? What we have here is a heroic account of an independent-minded, powerful woman. She claimed God spoke to her. In fact, she writes that God told her to go and see a Dame Julian in Norwich, who was an expert in divine revelations. The two women spent many days in conversation together. Margery visited the Holy Land and Santiago de Compostela. She'd had 14 children, but she rarely mentions them. The book begins with our madness, what my folio edition suggests would nowadays be called a postpartum psychotic interlude, after the birth of her first child, and the vision of Christ, which she says rescued her. There are lots of unintentionally funny bits in Margery's autobiography. She takes a vow of chastity. Her husband insists on exercising his conjugal rights, but Christ occasionally materialises to terrify him when he's on the brink of exercising them. Despite all this, however, Margery wasn't a one-off. She was part of a forgotten current of spiritual women at this point in history. Dorothea of Montagu, Angela of Foligno, Mary of Arani, Elizabeth of Schonau, to give but four, who were all similarly intoxicated by God, who suffered similar derision and have been equally forgotten. Most feminists will have an explanation for that.